Chachmei Moetzet HaTorah, or the Moetzet Chachmei HaTorah, very, very famous rabbinical sages. We're going to explore a bit about history. It's connected to the Shas political party, Sephardi ultra-Orthodox political party, obviously based in Israel. They boast many seats inside the Knesset, on various Knessets respectively. A bit within regards to the history of it. Now, what is it called, the Moetzet Chachmei HaTorah? It's also, you could call it the Council of Torah Sages. They take a very, very key role, even in the Knesset, you could say. Many various different decision makings actually take place. Now, first of all, just to say about it, it's a rabbinical body that has, let's say, the ultimate authority of the Israeli ultra-Orthodox Sephardic and Mizrahi Shas political party over here. Now, obviously, they do render various different importances. Let's just say they've dealt with many of the prime ministers, let's just say, most notably Benjamin Netanyahu, also Shimon Peres, and so on and so forth. Now, this council was established along with the establishment of the Shas political party in the year 1982 in order to serve as spiritual leadership of the new movement as a new Haredi ultra-Orthodox party, let's just say, per se. Shas followed in the footsteps of the Ashkenazic political party called Agudat Yisrael, and Moetzet Chachmei HaTorah from their branch over there, we have to point out. So, and they set up a similar mechanism, let's just say, this entire spiritual leadership and this entire rabbinical body, respectively. This establishment, the council, became a new spiritual, let's say, source in Israel. It also enjoyed the leadership of the Ashkenazic Torah Sages Council. I think at that point in time, there was the support of Rabbi Eliezer Shach, another famous Lithuanian rabbi who we've mentioned about here in the series before. It was a support that I think stopped, I think at one stage in time when there was an independent decision of the council in 1990 that Shas would join the coalition government at that point in time with more people on the left wing, if I'm not mistaken. But that is what's chronicled over within regards to the history of that. Now, the members of the council, they decide on the list of the candidates who's going to be part of the candidates for the Knesset. Obviously, big decision makers, coalition agreements, they will have the say within regards to it, and they will determine the political and the diplomatic policies of the political party respectively. So they would take some key decision makings within regards to that specific realm respectively. Okay, so founder members of the council were obviously the Sephardic chief rabbi. At the time he was a Sephardic chief rabbi of Eretz Yisrael between 1973 to 1983, Chacham Ovadia Yosef. Other rabbis was the famous Rabbi Shimon Ba'adani, a very, very great rabbi. I think he passed away in 2022. He was actually a Yemenite famous rabbi. Once again, a great rabbi we've mentioned about on various occasions. But also Chacham Shalom Cohen. He was another one of the founding rabbis over there. We went to his funeral also, I think it was in August 2022. It was about just over 3 years ago, which we have to point out. Okay, so they were the founding people. And I think also another famous rabbi, Rabbi Shabtai Aton, which I think that very, very interesting. So I think he actually left in 1990, I'm not sure. The first secretary of the council was a rabbi named Rabbi Yeeskel Asak. He was a confidant of Rabbi Shach. Now, it's actually interesting. We're going to try and speak a little bit about these great rabbis towards the end of the video over here. So he was the first secretary over there. And initially, I think the council was founded in order to ensure the remote control of Rav Shach over the Shas movement and to ensure his position as ultimate arbitrator over, let's say, fateful questions which were critical facing the Shas movement. But because of this, I think the rabbis, Rab Ba'adani, Rab Toledano, Rab Aton, who were appointed to the council, I think there was more different movements, let's just say, within regards to the entire structure as time progressed. Now, I think Rabbi Yeeskel Asak would retire, I think, around 1990. This was from Shas political party. He was replaced by Harav Moshe Maya, another famous rabbi who would later on become a Knesset member and eventually became himself a member of the council. So he would take on various different importances, let's just say, respectively, and will become a very, very prominent person. We'll speak about him also a word towards the end. And Rabbi Ovadia Yosef would serve as the president of the council for a staggering 30 years. Chacham Ovadia will be a very, very prominent position. Remember, Rabbi Ovadia Yosef was the spiritual leader of the Sephardi world jury, you could say, for many, many years. Famous rabbi, he passed away in 2013. I've spoken about him on various occasions before, so he would serve there. Now, after Moshe Maya, it will be Rabbi Raphael Pinchasi, who would serve as a council secretary for 14 years. We'll speak about him also. He retired, I think, after the passing of Rav David Yosef, and then Rav David Yosef was appointed as a member of the council at that window in time. So then more was progressed. We're going to try and speak about these great chachamim as the video goes on. Now, it's actually interesting. This thing up till the passing of Chacham David Yosef, the structure of the Shas political party in of itself was the same as that of Yeeskel HaTorah at that stage in time. Remember, we've spoken about. We didn't really speak much about the Yeeskel HaTorah structure, respectively, but that's interesting. I think it was subject to the Sephardic Council of Torah Sages, and from the cessation of, let's just say, when Rav Shach wasn't necessarily connected to it, it was headed solely by the leadership of Rabbi David Yosef, and it was particularly true after the appointment of Eli Ishai, who was appointed as a chairman of the Shas political party. Okay, now who is the council members? As of 2025, the members of the Sephardic Council of Torah Sages include Rabbi Moshe Meir, who we're going to speak about, Rabbi Reuben Elbaz, Rosh Yeshiva of Yeshivat Or HaChaim in the Bukhari neighborhood, great rabbi, Rabbi Avram Salim, another famous rabbi, Rabbi Shmuel Betzalel, Rabbi Shlomo Machbut, famous Temani Yemenite rabbi, Rabbi Yehuda Cohen, and also Rabbi Yitzchak Yosef. Rabbi Yitzchak Yosef was most recently a Sephardi Rishon LeZion of Israel, one of the chief rabbis of Israel. Who are the previous members, let's just say? Rabbi David Yosef was for 31 years, I believe, from 1982 to 2013. Chacham David Yosef, who happens to be, I believe, the current chief rabbi of Israel. He was between 2013 till 24. Also, Rabbi Shalom Cohen was between the years 1984 to 2022. Rabbi Shimon Ba'adani naturally was between 1984 to 2023. He passed away quite recently. Rabbi Gabriel Toledano was about 6-7 years between 1984 to 1990. Now another famous rabbi, Rabbi Shabtai Aton, between the years 1984 to 1990. Rabbi Shlomo Ben Shimon between 2022 to 2025. Very interesting. So who are the council secretaries? Rabbi Yeeskel Aschayek, who we mentioned about before, between 1982 to 1990. Rabbi Moshe Meir, who was between 1990 to 1999. Rabbi Raphael Pinchasi, who was about 14 years, from 1999 to 2013. Rabbi Amir Krispal, between 2014 to 2018. Rabbi Yoav Ben Sur has been pretty much since 2019 till present at the moment, as we've stated before. So let's explore a bit with regards to the political party itself over here, the very different importances, let's just say, and which is very, very interesting. So let's go on to it. So I think currently the Shas political party, they boast as many as 10 seats, if I'm not mistaken, inside the Israeli Knesset, which has to be pointed out. Rabbi Moshe Meir, who had an integral role, he was actually born in 1938, and he was actually a member of the Knesset between the years 1992 to 1996, and the Deputy Minister of Education and Culture, who would take on these important roles from 1992 to 1993. So he was very prominent. Chacham Yitzchak Yosef, the previous Rishon LeZion chief rabbi of Israel, who would have an integral part over there. He was born in 1952, I think January 16th of that specific year. He was a Rosh Yeshiva of Yeshivat Hazon Ovadia, and in the Jerusalem's Remainers neighborhood. And he would obviously join the Rabbinic Leadership Council of Shas political party after he finished his term as the chief rabbi of Israel. Who was Rabbi Shimon Ba'adani, another great rabbi, a Yemenite rabbi. He passed away, actually, to be precise, I think it was the 11th of January in the year 2023. Can be pronounced or spelled as different names. Obviously, he was a Rosh Kollel also. He co-founder of Kollel Torah V'Chaim in Bnei Brak. Very, very prominent Kollel it is. And president of dozens of Torah institutions. He was a senior leader of the Shas political party and a member of the party's Moetzet Chachmei HaTorah Rabbinical Leadership Council. He would have had also. So we've spoken about him on various occasions. Now, Rabbi Raphael Pinchasi would also have an integral role. He was born actually in the year 1940. He was also a politician who served as Minister of Communications between the years 1990 to 1992 for about 3 years approximately. To say a few things about him, which is very, very interesting. I believe he happens to have been if I'm not mistaken, he came actually from Kabul in Afghanistan. He was of Afghani origin, and his family migrated from there, I think, to Bukhara. This was in the 1930s. And later they would immigrate in 1950 to Israel. He was amongst the founders of the Shas political party and was a deputy mayor of Bnei Brak. In 1984, he was elected into the Knesset on Shas's list, and come December 1985, he was appointed deputy minister of Labour and Social Welfare. He was also have his seat in 1988 elections. He will be the deputy speaker of the Knesset. Come January 1990, he was appointed deputy internal affairs minister, and he later became the minister of communications until 1992 elections, which is very, very interesting. And I think, he would later on retain his seat and was deputy minister of finance also in August of that year, and became deputy minister of religious affairs. And so you can see he had various different prominent roles in the political party and the fabric, let's just say the fabric structure of the Knesset. And then I think in 1996 he was re-elected, and 1999 he wouldn't be a member anymore, and he was the chairman of the Tel Aviv Cemeteries Council in 2008. But he would have prominent role in the Moetzet Rabbinical Council of the Shas political party. Now another one who is presently is Yoav Ben Sur, Rav Yoav Ben Sur. He was born actually in June 1958. He was very prominent. I think he is actually a member currently of the Knesset for the Shas political party. He was an acting Minister of Health between January and April 2023, and Minister in the Ministry of Labour from 2022 until 2025. Let's just say a bit about him because he's got a key role in the Moetzet. He was actually born in Kfar Saba. He attended the school in Netanya, and Or Yisrael Yeshiva in Petach Tikva. He would serve in military service in the IDF, in the soldier teachers unit. He would have been. He became a reserve captain in Nachal Brigade. And I think between 1985 and 1992, he worked at the Or Chadash Middle Boarding School also. And in 1993, he became an immigration coordination of the Northern District for the Ministry of Religious Affairs, another prominent, let's say, role he had over there. And he took up the position of Deputy Director General of the National Centre for the Development of Holy Places. He would work, I think, between 1994 to 1997. He became the CEO of Hameshakim, and in 1998 he would serve until 2008. And in 2001 he became the chairman of the Jerusalem Religious Council. He later obviously worked as director of the Maya Chinuch Torani school system between 2007 until 2013. It was over there. Now let's explore a bit more with regards to the Chavrei Moetzet over here. I think it's very important as we're doing this special video over here and special edition over here. Who else? We mentioned about Rabbi Moshe Maya. He was also Rosh Kollel, I believe, of the Zichron Moshe, and he happened to have been Rosh Yeshiva of Teret Shlomo. This was, and the Rabbi Sfardi of the neighborhood Yad Eliyahu in Tel Aviv. So he had various different importances, and we mentioned him already. Rav Reuven Elbaz, we mentioned about before, he was a Rosh Yeshiva. These are Chavrei Moetzet, Rosh Yeshivot of Or HaChaim Yeshiva in the Bukhari neighborhood, and he was a rabbi of Beit Yisrael, I think since 2015. He founded, I think, the yeshiva itself, which was opened in 1969. Rav Abraham Salim, Rosh Yeshiva of Me'or Torah, I think he would start, if I'm not mistaken, on the 17th of April 2023. Rav Shmuel Betzalel, Rosh Yeshivat Porat Yosef, very prominent rabbi over there in the old city of Jerusalem. I think, that's very prominent. So Rav Shlomo Machbod, the Abbet Din of the Yoredea, and the Rav of the neighborhood called Nevei Achiezer in Bnei Brak. Once again, Rav Yehuda Cohen, Rosh Yeshiva of Yeshivat Yekirei Yerushalayim, Ber Talmud in the Geula neighborhood, in, I think, Makor Baruch to be precise, in Jerusalem. I'll have to double check on that. So those were the important roles there. Very, very important. Also, Rav Yitzhak Yosef, who was chief rabbi, the Rishon LeZion of Israel, which is very, very interesting. Rav Yitzhak Yosef, he was, I think, till 2024, November 2024, the chief Sephardi rabbi of Israel, who's part of the Chavrei Moetzet Chachmei HaTorah, who was yesterday. We mentioned about Rabbi Gabriel Toledano. I think he would leave in 1990. I think he started in 1982 or 1984, and he was one of the great rabbis over there. Rav Shabtai Aton, who we mentioned about before, would leave in 1991, and very much prominent position. Rav David Yosef, who said before, Rosh Kollel of Yechebei Dat. I think in 2013 he would join, if I'm not mistaken. I think this is after the passing of Rav David Yosef. Now he's currently the chief rabbi, the Rishon LeZion of Israel. Rabbi Shlomo ben Shimon, the Ab Bet Din of Levei Tzion, head of Jewish court over there. And that's also very interesting. I think we actually did record a video with regards to Rabbi Ben Shimon, Rabbi Shlomo ben Shimon, if I'm not mistaken, who was the Nisieh of the Moetzet, also president. We mentioned Rabbi Yosef for 30 years between 1982 to 2013. He passed away in 2013 nationally. Rav Shalom Cohen was between the years 2013 to 2022, and very, very prominent. And he had various other importances in various other cities. He was spiritual leader of the Shas political party over there, so he had close connections to everyone. Rav Shimon Badani was, I think, for a couple of years between 2022 to 2023, and that was after Rabbi Shalom Cohen passed away. He was the president of the Moetzet Chachmei HaTorah, and very interesting. Take on important roles over there. He passed away 11th of January that year 2023, and I think from 2024, I don't think there was a president actually announced as of yet, if I'm not mistaken. But that's very, very interesting. So also to point out, now we mentioned that Rabbi Yeeskel would have a very, very key role within regards to the Moetzet Torah over here. Let's mention a bit within regards to him. He was actually born in the year 1943, and he worked with the ultra-Orthodox communities, especially in Orach Chaim Bira. This was, I think, and would be working, I think, very alongside, as we mentioned before, Rabbi Elazar Menachem Man Shach, I think, for 38 years, and was part of the Moetzet Chachmei HaTorah over there, of Asak. So I think he was born actually in Israel, and he was from a family that actually came from Iraq originally, I believe, and they would settle in Bnei Brak. Bnei Brak, remember, is an ultra-Orthodox city in Israel, the very place we visited before, and I think in the neighborhood of Shlomo Lawrence, if I'm not mistaken. While he was young, he learned in Yeshivat Ponevezh over there, and he would have a connection with Rav Shach over there at that stage in time. And this was, I think, back in the 1960s, if I'm not mistaken. And very, very interesting. So, and various important works. He would become a leader of the ultra-Orthodox congregation in of itself. He would use a lot of his power and work alongside many, many other great rabbis, but most notably Rav Shach, respectively. And much can be said in regards to him, and maybe at a later stage. But he started his role, I think, with the Shas political party, Moetzet Torah, back in the 1984. So we're talking about quite a significant time period away. So I think this gives us a bit of the broadness and history with regards to this very, very important Moetzet in Israel, part of Shas political party, which currently boasts around 10 seats in Israeli Knesset. So that's very, very important. I think these things also, as we are exploring the history about the Rabbanim of yesteryear. So it's always good and important, I feel, to what's going on in current day, to actually find out what's going on, and very important in of itself. So I think this was a special class, one-off class over here. So if anyone, so we record videos about the great Sephardi Rabbanim of yesteryear. We recorded about already on this series a staggering 1,300 rabbis, which is a phenomenal achievement at the moment. We're trying especially to record the videos at the time period of the Hilula, which marks the passing of the great rabbi. So if you descend from any of the great rabbis we are speaking about, please send me an email. I would love to hear more information on them. If we haven't recorded about them yet, we will try and record in the near future. We'll try our best to do it. If you feel anyone is interested in watching any of these videos, please share these videos also to other people also. Now friends, we are coming close to 7,500 subscribers, which is a phenomenal achievement, and we're going from strength to strength. So if anyone's interested in watching these videos, please share these videos also to other people. Now the beauty about this channel is we're not just recording videos on the great rabbis of yesteryear, or great yeshivot, or important roles the Rabbanim are playing. We like to tour all over Israel. We tour different areas. I think we go around Bet Shemesh, go to Jerusalem. We like to explore different parts of archaeology of Israel. So if you subscribe to the channel, you'll be able to check out all the tours also, which we are doing. Another important thing that we're doing is we'll do a daily tidbit on a page of the Gemara, which the Daf Yomi cycle is learning all across the world. So we try and also do that as a special treat for all you fantastic people out there. We also record with an interesting Jewish personality of modern era. Could be a rabbi or another great figure. And we try and record and get some wisdom within regards to them. And, I think it's added content for the channel itself, respectively. There is that. And record on the Parshat Shvuah and so on and so forth. Can you warm this up? This warm up? And, all right. Yeah, and we do a little more here. So I think everyone, please subscribe to the channel and wishing you well and have a fantastic day. Thanks everyone for watching. Have a great day. Thanks.